The Government of Australia will hold a referendum on determining the fate of Indigenous peoples, of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in their constitution. Through this referendum, it will be determined whether the existing community will be recognised by the Australian Constitution or not. In his statement, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said, "This referendum was a moment in the making. A spirit of cooperation and tactful and respectful dialogue was essential to getting to this point," Albanese said emotionally. Indigenous Australians, or what are known as Aboriginal Australians, have lived on the continent for more than 50,000 years. To date, there are 250 different languages spread across Australia. Reporting from National Geographic, the Aboriginal community itself is divided into two. The first is Aborigines, namely those who have lived in Australia since British colonization in 1788. The second is the people of the Torres Strait Islanders, descendants of the people of the Torres Strait Islands who are now known as Queensland. All Aboriginal people are related to the Indigenous Australians. However, the use of the term Indigenous is quite controversial, because it can be claimed by people who are not native. In 2017, a genetic study of 111 Aboriginal people found that Australia's Indigenous Aboriginal peoples are descended from a common ancestor, from a population that appeared on the Australian continent 50,000 years ago. One theory holds that there was migration out of Africa around 70,000 years ago, making Aboriginal Australians the oldest human population living outside of Africa. When British colonization began in 1788, around 750,000 Aboriginal Australians are thought to have lived there. Although some Australian Aborigines had resisted, most of them were victims of massacres and impoverishment by the British colonialists. Between 1910–1970, the Australian government's assimilation policies resulted in up to 33% of Aboriginal Australian children being forcibly transferred. This stolen generation was passed into families and forbidden to speak their native language. Many Aboriginal Australians were deprived of full citizenship and voting rights until 1965. In 1967, Australians decided federal law would also apply to Aboriginal Australians. It was only in 2008, Australian Prime Minister Kevin Rudd issued an apology for the state's actions against Aboriginal people. Since then, Australia has worked hard to reduce the social gap between Aboriginal and non-Indigenous Australians. Today, about 3% of Australia's population has Aboriginal heritage. Indigenous Aborigines themselves continue to struggle to maintain their ancient culture, as well as fight for recognition from the Australian government.